It's been amazing 16 plus years of helping lead this organization. When we started with just 12 companies, and now again have over 300 members, and over 200 of those members being manufacturers. So I always say I don't go to work, I go to play because it's so much fun. And so our whole focus as an organization is workforce. Our vision statement is that every Northeast Wisconsin manufacturer will find the talent it needs.
Welcome to the InitiativeOne Leadership Podcast, where we help leaders maximize their impact and transform their lives. I'm your host, Nick Nighbor, as well as the VP of Strategic Partnership for InitiativeOne. In today's show, we have Ann Franz from New Manufacturing Alliance. And before I bring her on, I want to give you a little bit of background on Ann. So Ann had started this organization over 16 years ago, and there are over 300 members, 200 plus, which are actually manufacturing organizations. And this organization employs over half of the workforce in the area. I'm so excited to learn more about the New Manufacturing Alliance. And once we get towards the end of the show, we're going to tell you a little about an event that's coming up here at the end of October. Welcome to the show, Ann.
Thanks, Nick.
We're so glad that you're here. And InitiativeOne, with this whole organization and all the different things that you serve here, just helping more and more people learn about how to partner with New Manufacturing Alliance. Tell us about New Manufacturers Alliance.
Well, it is such a pleasure again to have an opportunity to talk with you, Nick. It's been amazing 16 plus years of helping lead this organization. You know, when we started with just 12 companies, and now again have over 300 members, and over 200 of those members being manufacturers. So I always say I don't go to work, I go to play because it's so much fun. And so our whole focus as an organization is workforce. Our vision statement is that every Northeast Wisconsin manufacturer will find the talent it needs. So in some ways, I guess I'm not doing a very good job because everyone's looking for talent, but we're all industry sectors are really struggling for talent. And that's why it's so important to have companies come together in one voice talking about the value of these jobs, that they're great paying jobs and there's great career potential. So that's what we do as an organization, is really to serve as the voice of manufacturers in our region.
So you started with 12 companies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's go back. What got you started?
Well, really, I had very little to do with the very beginning in terms of, it wasn't my idea about the Manufacturing Alliance. It was a gentleman who owned a manufacturing company called EMT International. And I was recently hired by Northeast Wisconsin Technical College to serve a grant that the Bay Area Workforce Development Board had. They wanted to have somebody out there talking to CEOs about their current and future workforce needs. So I was hired specifically for that role. So 2 months in, I called a CEO. Not many CEOs really wanted to talk to me, but one did. And I had that meeting with Paul Rauscher. And he was loaded for bear. He was so frustrated. He had great jobs, but nobody was interested. So I brought some people together, and the president of the technical college in Green Bay said, you know what, Paul, this is your image problem. This is your issue. Manufacturers need to come together to work on this problem. And Paul said, you know what, you're right. Manufacturers are really good problem solvers, and we have a problem. And so because I was new to the position, the executive director of the Bay Area Workforce Development Board at that time, Jim Golombeski, said, well, Ann has some capacity to help you, Paul. So we brought some companies together, those 12 companies, and really formed the strategy and vision of the organization. And it just grew from there.
So would you have guessed 15 years ago it would be as big as it is today?
No, not at all. Not at all. I knew that there was a need, but what's so amazing about our area is our companies are so collaborative as well as our colleges and schools are really amazing at how they come together. Because of some of the success of the organization, I've been able to speak in over 15 different states and even Europe about how to bring public private partnerships together. And often when I leave that state, it never happens. And part of our secret sauce is about the great collaboration that we have in our community.
I think there was and hopefully I'll get the quote here right, but I think it's you can go fast alone, but you
Mhm.
can go further together. Is that
Correct.
I
Yep, that's
believe
one of the
I'm not,
quotes I use in my presentations.
is it? Yes.
That's so funny.
So how true is that? If you're listening, we did not make that like
No,
we did
yeah,
not plan that.
amazing.
I'm simply just listening to Ann and I'm trying to put the two and two together. But that's really what it is. If
Mhm,
you're in manufacturing and you have your own organization and you lead people and you lead systems, good. But what if you had all of these other organizations that you could interact with and mastermind with and partner with and collaborate with? How much further could you go? Especially if you have these owners that have been in business for years, like let's say a new manufacturer and next door they've been in business for 50 years. Like there's so much wisdom to be learned by getting around other people that are in the same space. And this is exactly what you're doing with it's the alliance, right? You're
mhm,
aligning everyone together so everyone can go further, correct?
mhm. I think also what's unique about our organization is the diversity of talent within the organization. So 25% of the people that are engaged with our organization are CEOs or presidents.
Mhm.
Another 25% are HR leaders. Another 25% are plant managers or operations managers. And then the other 25% are marketing and sales. So, really, I'm very blessed that I'm able to um, be able to bring all these people together with different talents and abilities to really work on a very difficult issue, getting people interested in manufacturing careers. And we have a lot more to do. We are definitely not on the apex of where we should be, but we have seen significant improvement in more schools offering tech ed classes.
Okay.
There's actually a shortage of tech ed teachers because there's so many opportunities now for students to take tech ed. And so we actually support a college scholarship, in fact, two of them at UW Oshkosh, for people who want to become tech ed teachers to get a scholarship at UW Oshkosh. We also we're monitoring how many people are going into the tech colleges for machining and welding degrees, for example. So in 2005, before we started, there were 180 people enrolled at the four tech colleges in machining. 10 years later, there were over 500. In
Wow.
welding, there were 193 in 2005. 10 years later, there were over 900. So good, but we need a lot more. As
Yeah.
well as in 2005, there were no 4 year engineering degree programs at UW Green Bay or UW Oshkosh, which is startling because 23% of all the jobs in our region are in manufacturing. We worked in partnership with our college presidents as well as the technical college presidents and helped make the business case to the board of um, regents from the UW system that we needed a 4 year engineering degree program with on and off ramps where people could start at the tech college or the 4 year college and it all came together. And now there's hundreds of people enrolled in engineering technology at those two colleges. So I'm really proud of that.
That's
We
amazing.
we just don't say that, okay, hey, go ahead and offer these degrees. We actually support them with college scholarships. So I said a little bit about that tech ed teacher college scholarship.
Okay.
Plus, we've supported $55,000 this year alone in college scholarships, mostly at our 2 and 4 year colleges in the region. And since we've started giving college scholarships, we've given over $400,000 in college scholarships.
Over 400,000. in college scholarships. That's giving back, Ann.
And, we don't want that to be a reason why people don't continue. And a lot of times, individuals for a 1 or 2 year degree, they don't have that opportunity for a scholarship, and we make sure that that's available to them too.
Well, so it's not, you had mentioned earlier, workforce, but there's so many more pieces to it than just workforce. We know there's a need, we know there's a shortage, but it sounds like you've been very intentional on, all right, all right, let's work in this area here first. Let's work here in this area. And you had said 10 years ago to where we are today, the demand has just increased, and you just want to fill that gap.
Significantly. We know that this workforce issue is not just a one size fits all. Okay, we do this one thing and we're good to go. So we really have developed a strategy around things like K-12, to college students, to incumbent workers, to reaching out to job seekers. So we need to look at this as really creating the ecosystem to support these manufacturers and connecting them to talent.
Awesome. What would you say, looking back 15, 16 years, has been the cause or the reason for success? And just with your organization, I'm having you give yourself some credit here. What are some things that you're most proud of?
I think what I'm most proud of is speaking less and listening more. I always say I'm not a manufacturer, I only play one on TV. So I shouldn't be dictating what we do and what manufacturers need. And so we have task forces and not committees, because I've been on too many committees that continue to talk about the issue but never get to the solution. So we have 8 different task forces, and those task forces are the reason for that success, as well as our board of directors, setting the strategy of our organization, because they're the real practitioners, they're the real manufacturers. So a few things that I'm really proud of is one of the first things we did was we wanted to elevate careers in manufacturing. So we came out with a program called the All Stars, where companies nominate their employees between the ages of 18 and 36, and we spotlight them in a careers magazine. We print 25,000 copies that go out to the schools, as well as the electronic version has a video of each person talking about their career. Because I used to say, hey, you should be a welder. In fact, you can see maybe in the background my hot pink welding helmet. But, I'm not a real welder. So why should somebody listen to me? Because I'm not in that career. So why not have real people who really do these jobs talk about their career? And so we are now in the 15th year of our All-Star publication. And we have over 100 videos of these All-Stars talking about their careers. And we have an awards dinner where we elevate these individuals, which they should be. These are great paying jobs. They are so significant to our community. And so that is one area I'm really proud of. I'm also really proud of Internship Draft Day that we hold at Lambeau Field. Because, the first time we held that event, it was an epic failure. We had to cancel 2 days ahead of time of the event. And I think because of us saying, you know what, hey, although this didn't work, we're going to bring it back to our task force. And now we've received a national award for Internship Draft Day. Internship Draft Day is a college fair we have in November where we bus in college students, both university and 2-year technical colleges, to Lambeau Field. The students walk in and see their name on a draft board based on their GPA and student club participation. And then they get 5 one-on-one 15-minute interviews during the day that they choose. The employers actually give them points for how well they interview. And at the end of the night, we've been very fortunate that Mark Murphy, president and CEO of the Green Bay Packers, announces the #1 draft picks. And we give away college scholarships and gift certificates, and they get an event jersey. So lesson learned, sometimes you're going to have an epic failure before you have the grand success that would never have happened without bringing you back to those task forces.
Well, I'm glad you kept it going, even if it didn't work the first year, because now people look forward to it. They know what to expect. And as soon as someone gets one of those jerseys or they get it, like word spreads. You get that, not just the notoriety with, it being held at Lambeau, just having that real world experience of people that, all right, you're going to be asked these questions. You want to be prepared. What a great way to prepare for the real world, really what it is. Because it's going to happen. They can't avoid it.
Exactly. And these are all paid internships. So the student may not win the ultimate number 1 and number 2 draft pick, but they're going to leave that place or a few days later get that call saying, hey, we want to hire you.
Yes. So that all-star program been going for over 15 years, and then the internship day. And this information, this is on your website, correct?
Correct.
All right.
Which is new MFG, like manufacturing abbreviated, alliance.org.
Awesome. Well, make sure you go to that so you can learn a little bit more about those programs. I do want to take some time here today, Ann, to talk about an event that's coming up here towards the end of October. So let the listeners know, let the watchers know what's happening at the end of October.
Well, October is manufacturing month for the state. Most states have one day for manufacturing. We have the whole month. And how we end that whole month worth of fun, amazing events is our annual Manufacturing First Conference and Expo. This year, it's going to be at the new Rush Expo right across the street from Lambeau Field. This will be year 12. I can't believe it. It's so funny. When First Business Bank first approached our company, our organization, about sponsoring a manufacturing conference, our board of directors said, you know what, we don't need another manufacturing conference. No one's ever going to come to this. Well, 12 years later, we average over 1,000 attendees and over 200 exhibitors. So sometimes even really smart people are wrong. And so we are so excited about this year's event, especially at the new venue. And we have so much going on. It's really, truly a unique event that now is the largest annual manufacturing conference in the state of Wisconsin. So we do have lots of information, keynotes and breakout sessions. So our keynote this year is John Cilio, who is going to be talking about cybersecurity. We actually received a grant from Microsoft, and we did a study on Industry 4.0. And what we found was cybersecurity was the greatest concern and investment that companies were doing in their companies. And a survey was done last year. So we're having this national expert who's actually been on Dr. Oz and Rachel Ray, and he's going to be having a presentation on unhackable blockbuster cybersecurity for the manufacturing industry. Plus, we have lots of breakout sessions from employment law to Industry 4.0, attraction and retention strategies, leadership, and productivity. So besides the breakout sessions, the keynote sessions, we also bring in a few hundred high school students for a portion of the day to do hands-on activities at our expo hall with companies to learn more about manufacturing careers. Then in the afternoon, we also bring in some college clubs to participate. It's a B2B, and it's just a great way to network. Really, if you're not there, you're missing out.
So what it sounds like is it's not just a bunch of vendors putting up some tables. You're bringing it. You got someone talking about cybersecurity. You have other speakers that are talking about employment law. Some of the key topic areas, these businesses, these are areas where these manufacturers are being impacted. If it's not today, it's going to be happening in the 12, 24, 36 months, that kind of thing. And you're getting the community involved, high school, college age kids, and then plus the exhibitors, which is a great opportunity to find out, all right, who's involved here in the area, not just Green Bay, but manufacturers throughout the whole state. So what would, if someone is just hearing about this for the first time, where would someone go to learn more and get the details so they can make it to this event?
Sure. We have a dedicated website, www.manufacturingfirst, and first is spelled out, .com, and that will give you all the event details. Um, you can have we're almost sold out, so be sure to register early if you are looking for an exhibit booth. That costs $850, or our ticket price is $110, and that price is good through September 9th, and then thereafter $165. But truly it is, if you want to be engaged with manufacturers, again, we'll have over 100 manufacturers that are exhibiting, plus so many other individuals that are manufacturers that are not having a booth but are attending the show. So really, it truly is a great networking opportunity.
Awesome. So make sure you go to manufacturingfirst.com to get your ticket. If you've never been to it, it's an amazing event. There are so many people and so many different booths to visit with, but then also the speakers are really amazing as well. I've been able to attend the last few years, and I just remember the keynote from last year. It was just, but
Dr. Rigsby, yes, he was amazing.
Yes, he was
In fact, yeah, it was funny.
amazing.
Somebody else who was there saw him and then booked him for their event. So yeah, he was pretty amazing.
Yes, I'm glad that you were able to bring him in, and during, like, when we were in the expo hall, like, I think I had probably a 15 or 20-minute conversation with him. So again, if you're thinking about, if you're within an hour or two of Green Bay, make sure you get there. It's October 26th, manufacturingfirst.com to get your tickets and get that in your calendar. Make sure you don't miss that. As you are on the InitiativeOne Leadership Podcast, our number one industry, it's really the industry that we serve the most. Most of our clients are in the manufacturing space. So if you're listening to this or you're watching this and you already know what lean manufacturing is, you know the whole process and systems. If you lead people and you lead systems, we would love to partner with you, because everything that you've learned from lean manufacturing complements our transformational leadership process, where it helps with helping you become a better leader, helping you to make better decisions, helping to remove drama, build trust, and take 100% responsibility. Those are just a couple of the principles and the models that we teach here at InitiativeOne. If you are looking to improve in those areas and become more world-class, reach out to us. We would love to be able to give you some more information, and you can learn a little bit more about InitiativeOne. And we're so happy that you were able to join the show. I'm glad that you were able to share a little bit more about your organization, as well as the Manufacturing First event at the end of October. I know it's going to be another success for you. Any final parting words on the show here today, Ann?
Well, thanks, Nick, and thanks, InitiativeOne, for your leadership training, which is so important. With the aging workforce, we need more and more people to be upskilled in leadership skills, and you've done such a great job with that. So I just commend you and InitiativeOne, and I hope to see you, as well as the others that may be joining us on this podcast, at Manufacturing First. Please stop me and say hello. And it's such an awesome place to live in, is Northeast Wisconsin.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And if this is the first time that you're listening to the podcast and you found value, and you know someone that could get value from this, feel free to share this with someone, whether it's through YouTube or any of the podcast channels. We're available on all those podcast channels. If you love this episode, leave a rating, leave a review. That way we can impact more and more people. And that's exactly what we want to do here on the InitiativeOne Leadership Podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you on the next show.